Welcome to the world of the powerful predator. A world where the only way to survive is to hunt and kill. A predator is an animal that lives by preying on other animals. To do this, it needs special skills. First, it must find its prey. The tiger relies on its excellent vision. Then it must be fast enough to catch its prey, and strong enough to make the kill. In this program, we'll meet powerful predators that hunt in many different ways. In our first story, we'll see how the cheetah uses speed as a weapon. Then we'll find out how the predators of the deep seek out their victims from a long way away, making them the most efficient killers in the ocean. In the freezing wastes of the north, we'll see how these powerful predators must be adaptable to find enough food to survive. In the last story, we'll meet a deadly predator that relies on patience, and we'll watch the world's largest snake as it hunts from the water. To begin our first journey, we travel to Africa, to the Serengeti. These plains of East Africa support some of the most spectacular wildlife in the natural world. This is the home of the fastest predator on Earth, the cheetah. Cheetahs kill their prey by suffocation. Like all big cats, cheetahs only eat meat, so everything about them is adapted to hunting. They live in flat, open grassland where they can use their speed and superior vision. But this cheetah is also a mother. She has 4 cubs, just a few months old. Cheetah cubs are born with a long gray mane. Some experts think this is to make them look like a ratel, a fierce relative of the badger that few other animals will dare attack. Female cheetahs are always solitary, so she has no help in supporting her family. As soon as she has suckled her cubs, she must hunt again. If she can, she'll choose a young or a weak gazelle. At top speed, the cheetah can reach 70 miles an hour. She has a very flexible spine that allows her to make huge strides, and her long tail helps her to balance as she twists and turns. Having made a kill, she quickly eats the nutritious organs and blood, for the smell of fresh meat soon brings uninvited guests. Built for speed rather than strength, she can't defend her food from scavengers. The vultures will strip the carcass in minutes, and there's little she can do about it. A marabou stork, a jackal. It seems everyone has a share in her hard-earned kill. The scavengers waste nothing. But back at the rocky outcrop, where her cubs are waiting, she senses something is very wrong. A lioness has found their hiding place, and a lioness will kill cheetah cubs if she finds them. The cubs will grow up to compete for food in her territory. They try to hide, and their mother would be no match in a fight with the powerful lioness. She'd be killed, and her cubs would die without her. The mother can only wait for the lioness to leave. She has suffered a terrible loss. She tries the only thing she knows, to lick the cub back to life. But her family isn't completely destroyed. 2 of her cubs are still alive. The rains bring life to the Serengeti. Fresh grass provides food for the grazing animals, and they in turn will be food for the predators. A group of male cheetahs. Males stay together most of the time. These are brothers, and they're ready to hunt. They watch the herd, seeking out a likely victim. The brothers work together, each taking a turn at the chase, like a relay. It's a way of conserving energy. Again, they've chosen a young gazelle, separated from its mother. Predators are important to the ecology of the plains. By taking the weaker members, they help to keep the herd as strong as possible. A gazelle's only defense is to run. Gazelles are the cheetah's main prey. Staying in a group gives each gazelle a better chance of survival. On its own, each one will be vulnerable to attack. Although they usually live on carrion, marabou storks are predators in their own way. They take young weaver birds from the nest, and the mother is helpless to defend them. Predators kill to survive, but they must learn the skills they need to hunt successfully. It might be more fun to play, but the only way to learn is to practice. Guinea fowl are fine for beginners, but as the cubs get older, they'll have to try for bigger prey. They're too excited. The herd sees them and runs. It's time for Mother to show them how it's done. But the brothers have seen her, and they're no longer interested in hunting. They follow the cub's mother. They want to mate with her. She tries to tell them she isn't interested. Male cheetahs can be very persistent, so she uses another signal. Her urine carries a chemical that is a scent message. It tells the males she's not ready to mate. She still has cubs to care for. Finally, they get the message and reluctantly leave her alone. All the time she's away from them, her cubs could be in danger. She must get back to the outcrop. But the cubs have seen an enemy approaching and have tried to hide in a tree. She knows the threat is close. A leopard is on the prowl. Although the leopard is bigger, it was surprised by the cheetah, and this time, it isn't interested in a fight, even though it would win. The leopard finds refuge in a tree, but the cheetah still stands her ground. And out on the plain, there's trouble of a different kind. A pack of hyenas. They can smell food, and they're determined to steal it. The brothers are surrounded. All they can do is form a circle, face the enemy, and wait. Sensing a fresh kill, the hyenas won't give up. The standoff will last as long as the cheetahs stay alert. But the hyena's grim determination wins out, and the cheetah's kill is claimed like a prize. Meanwhile, our mother has finally been more fortunate. As the cubs are growing quickly, they need the protein they can only get from fresh meat. The seasons pass, and the cheetah's cubs will soon be ready to leave her. They're now too big to be taken by another great predator of the plains, a martial eagle. But it would take younger cubs if it had the chance. These birds are huge. They can have a wingspan of nearly 2.5 meters. They usually have just one chick, cared for by both parents. Nearly full grown now, the cheetah's cubs are ready to hunt for themselves. Their mother watches them. She has to know they can hunt without her. It still takes both of them to bring down the wildebeest, but she's satisfied that they can look after themselves now. It'll take practice for them to become efficient predators, but they can find food for themselves. We leave her as she returns to the normal, solitary life of a female cheetah. Her role as a mother, over for now. Our next story takes us to the sea, where we meet sea lions in the waters off the coasts of Patagonia, South America. Sea lions gather on the beach to mate and give birth to their pups. More at home in the water than they are on land, the sea provides them with the fish they depend on for food. But danger lurks below the surface. It's an orca, also known as a killer whale. Related to dolphins, orcas are streamlined predators of the sea. They can swim at over 30 miles an hour. As the sea lions come together to breed, the orcas also arrive to hunt them. They live in close family units called pods and often work together to catch their prey. But sea lions can't afford to stay out of the water, or they would starve. They have to take the risk. Using every square meter of the beach, each of the huge males stakes out his territory and mates with his own group of 10 or so females. And the pups are also born on the crowded beach. In the confusion, this little pup has been separated from his mother. He can't find her anywhere. She could be in the surf, or further out to sea, searching for fish. Too late. She didn't see it coming. The orca moved so quickly. The waiting giant petrels waste no time feasting on the remains. Baleen whales, the gentle giants of the sea, living on the tiny plankton in the water. Orcas are the only whales that kill other warm-blooded animals. They have no hesitation in taking the calves of blue whales. But when attacking large prey, like humpback whales, orcas hunt in a group, communicating with each other by sound. Each pod has its own unique language. At the turn of the century, when commercial whaling was at its peak, orcas were even known to herd great whales into whaling stations so they could feast on the leftover remains. But another great predator of the sea hunts alone. In California, the kelp forests provide a refuge for sea otters, but the otters are never completely safe, even here. The great white shark. A predator that relies on its sense of smell to find its victims. It can detect blood in the water from almost a kilometer away. When it gets closer, special sensors on its side detect movement, and sensors on its nose pick up the electric field given off by its prey. These sharks even poke their heads above the water to sniff out a victim. Elephant seals come to California's Farallon Islands every year to breed. The sharks follow to hunt them. The sharks make so many kills that this area is known as the Red Triangle. The great white is one of the few warm-blooded fish. This shark's muscles are always ready for a fast, deadly strike. And as it closes in, at the last minute, it rolls its eyes back to reduce the chance of injury. Sharks are so successful as predators that scientists believe they've ruled the oceans for 300 million years. Some have adapted their senses in special ways. Hammerhead sharks have strange-shaped heads, which have sensors that can even detect the prey under the sand. Sharks have bodies that are a perfect streamlined shape for moving through the water. And the flat-bodied angel shark buries itself in the sand to wait in ambush for anything that passes. Because of their reputation as killers, sharks themselves are killed by people, out of fear or for sport. Now some species have become endangered, and the situation is made worse by the fact that sharks take a long time to reproduce. When some sharks emerge from their egg case, they have to face life alone, with no care or attention from parents. Even these predators of the sea start life small and vulnerable. There's always danger around, always something lurking, waiting to snatch anything that comes along. A few young sharks grow up to be deadly predators, but many don't. Our next story takes us to North America to explore the world of the grizzly bear, a powerful predator that survives in one of the harshest climates in the world. Dominated by the seasons, everything that lives in these regions has adapted to the extreme conditions. Grizzly bears are at home in the western regions of North America, with large numbers in Alaska. And they don't waste the winter months. Cubs are born in the den and are suckled until the spring. The mother brings her family out into the open as soon as the temperature starts to rise. In the harsh conditions, our grizzly must take advantage of any food it can find. The strong paws of the predator can also dig for roots. But here's another grizzly, and he's a danger to her cubs. He'll kill them if he can, so that their mother will be ready to breed again and mate with him. The family must get away. It's spring, the time for new life. A moose is ready to give birth, and briefly, there's enough to eat. Grizzly bears use many different ways to find food. They can run very quickly over short distances to chase their prey. Their power comes from a combination of speed and strength. The cubs depend on their mother for all their food, and grizzlies will eat fresh meat as well as roots and berries. They survive because they don't specialize. When one food supply runs out, they just eat something else. If they kill something as big as a moose, it can take them several days to finish it. As the temperature rises, everyone has to make the best of the sunshine. It's important for the cubs to learn to swim. Grizzly bears will eat seabirds' eggs and chicks. It's summer, a time of plenty. A ground squirrel, brought out by the bears digging and searching. Golden eagles sometimes follow the bears to see if they disturb any small animals. But the eagle won't come near while the bears are still around. The ground squirrel is safe as long as the bears are close. The eagle leaves to find a meal somewhere else. Grizzly bears don't have the forest to themselves. A black bear has claimed a moose carcass. Black bears are smaller than grizzlies, but they're just as adaptable in what they eat. She'll take what she can from the carcass, but if a grizzly comes near, there's no argument. Black bears won't risk a fight. A grizzly could kill a black bear with one swipe of its paw. The grizzly just takes what she wants. Very few animals will quarrel with her. Grizzly bears that live near the coast are sometimes called brown bears. They're bigger than the inland grizzlies, and they have a special skill, one that opens up another food supply. Fishing, as the salmon make their annual journey back up the river to spawn. The bears are waiting. All too soon, distant storms signal the coming of autumn. The animals here must prepare for the arrival of the snow. The ripening berries are important food for the bears, who now lay down as much fat as they can before winter. The moose are losing velvet from their antlers, ready for the oncoming rut. After all their lessons in searching and digging from their mother, the cubs are now beginning to master these skills. But they need as much food as they can get. A caribou would usually outrun a bear, but this one's lame. It has to stand and fight. It can't stand up to the bear's strength. And now, the first snows arrive. The rut has begun. The male moose are fighting. And every fight will have a loser. They fight for the right to mate with the females. But the grizzly is waiting for the loser. Wounded and exhausted, the old male leaves. His death provides a welcome meal for our hungry bear family. With the extra layers of fat it gains, a grizzly can weigh over 300 kilos at its heaviest. She'll live off this fat in the months ahead. It's time to find a suitable den. Grizzlies don't truly hibernate, but they do sleep through the winter, neither eating or drinking. The cubs stay with their mother for their first winter, so they need a den big enough for 3. Already in their den, the black bear cubs hide from the grizzly. A grizzly would kill them without hesitation. But time is short. The family must find a den and dig it out before the temperature falls. They won't come out until next spring, and we leave them to sleep as once more the land is dominated by the bitter cold. For our last story, we traveled back to Africa. This time, we come to the edge of the Serengeti, to the Mara River. Here, a powerful predator lies in wait. It can stay motionless for hours, deadly and patient. The Nile crocodile. It can grow to nearly 6 meters long and may live for up to 100 years. Perfectly built for life in the water, its eyes and nostrils are on the top of its head. Crocodiles are cold-blooded, so they can't regulate their own temperature. They depend on the sun to warm them up. And when they get too hot, they cool off by letting heat escape through their mouths. Crocodiles can go for a long time without eating, but there are now only weaver birds and African sparrows to keep hunger away. But the wildebeest are coming. Hunger makes the crocodiles irritable with each other. The wildebeest have been traveling for days. For now they're thirsty, but soon they'll have to cross the Crocodile's river. And the crocodiles will be waiting. The wildebeest are so thirsty, they have no sense of danger. Too impatient, the crocodiles miss, and the wildebeest come back to drink. This time, the crocodiles are more cunning. As they stalk their prey slowly from the water, the floating leaves make them even harder to see. Their powerful muscles are strong enough to drag even a full-grown wildebeest to its death. But here's an animal that isn't threatened by the crocodiles. Adult hippos are simply too big for them to bite. So hippos share the river with the crocodiles and with anyone else who comes along, like this jacana. A fully grown hippo can weigh up to 4 tons. Yet this giant of the river is a herbivore. It eats only vegetation. Its name means river horse, and it spends most of its time in the water. The only thing that will attack a hippo is another hippo. The males are very aggressive and fight each other, and their teeth can cause terrible injuries. These wounds may look painful, but they heal quickly. The wildebeest can't leave the riverbank. Sooner or later, they have to cross. It just takes one, brave enough to make the attempt, and others will follow. Crossing together gives wildebeest a better chance of making it. The crocodiles are reluctant to attack so many of them in the water at once. in the confusion, one young wildebeest panics. Away from the others, it's an easy target. Crocodiles roll and spin to tear off chunks of flesh. They can't chew, so they gulp their food down whole. They eat as much as they can right away. But if there's any left over, they'll store it in an underwater larder, wedging it below a rock where the cold water stops it decomposing. Nile crocodiles are the biggest predators in the river, but even they start life tiny and vulnerable. Baby crocodiles are only a few centimeters long. As soon as they hatch from their eggs, they call to their mother. Jaws that can rip apart a wildebeest are gentle enough for her to carry her babies to safety. But there's danger everywhere. The baby crocodiles are defenseless. The only thing to do is hide. A Nile monitor lizard will steal crocodile eggs and babies. But it also catches and eats small mammals. For such a big lizard, up to 2 meters long, it moves very quickly. The monitor lizard's burrow is not a good place to hide. Once the lizard smells prey, it won't give up. There's no escape. The water provides a natural place for baby crocodiles to hide. Their instinct is to head for the river. But before the monitor lizard can reach them, another predator has found their hiding place. The marabou storks are not intimidated by crocodiles. Even the mother can't stop their gruesome feast. The wildebeest have gone, and in the dry season, there's little food for the crocodiles. All they have left are the remains they stored. Once these leftovers are finished, the crocodiles will go hungry, but they can survive many months without eating. The fish eagle can leave to find food somewhere else, but the crocodiles can only wait until the wildebeest return. In another great river, the Amazon of South America, lives a close relative of the crocodile, the caiman. Like the Nile crocodile, the caiman hunts by waiting in ambush for its victim. Out of the water, they use vision to find their prey. But here, the caiman doesn't rule this river. Another predator is far more deadly. The green anaconda, the most massive snake in the world. It can grow over 7 meters long. Immensely strong, it can weigh almost 150 kilos. An adult tapir is safe, but the anaconda could easily take her young. It hunts from the river, where the water supports its body weight. Its approach is silent and stealthy. The young caiman is crushed to death in the snake's coils. Then the anaconda unhinges its jaws and slowly consumes its meal. The strong coils stop the caiman's legs from getting stuck as the anaconda swallows the massive prey. Another predator has made a successful kill. In the finely balanced world of the hunter and the hunted, powerful predators are winners in the eternal race for survival.